Yeah.
Welcome to the After Nerd Podcast. I'm your main host, Kyle, along with my co-host, Greg, for our cinema section.
No Dan today.
No Dan. I think he's dead. I'm pretty sure he's dead. He's probably not feeling it or feeling well. Who knows? Or, Sing 2 finally killed him.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Gave him a brain aneurysm. He's dead, laying on his floor. I'll check on him sometime next week.
Okay.
Things, we're going to talk about some quick news and stuff. Comic-Con was just not too long ago, and usually about that time they start talking about like upcoming shows for geek stuff. Rosario Dawson, during that panel, because they were doing like a panel for all like the Netflix series, Jessica Jones and Punisher and all that.
Yeah.
Well, she let it slip that Disney is planning on doing.
She let it slip.
She actually did. You could tell she let it slip because she was like. She let it slip. I don't think she was supposed to, but she was a little caught up into the crowd cheering her on. Yeah. So she let it slip that Disney Plus is going to have its own Punisher series based off with Jon Bernthal and based off like the Netflix series.
This would be like the third Punisher, right?
Yes, but not a movie. That's going to be like the Netflix show.
Punisher show on Netflix.
Yeah, which was really, really good and gritty and be right up your alley. I was going to tell you that's going to be your
I watched some of it with you.
Yeah, it was good because it was really good. So she kind of let it slip. And then all of a sudden, 2 days later, she goes, "Oh, well, I'm not confirming anything. A fan told me that what was confirmed. I'm not saying there is a Jon Bernthal Netflix.
A fan told you it was confirmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So she let the cat out of the bag on accident, probably. And Disney, being the overlords they are, chewed her out.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the big question everyone's having is it going to be rated R? Because it's going to probably be on Disney Plus.
Well, you know Disney doesn't like to do rated R crap.
Yes. But they bought the property of the Punisher knowing what it's about.
From everything I heard, they tried to tell Ryan Reynolds he wasn't going to do a rated R Deadpool, and Ryan Reynolds said, "You ain't getting a Deadpool then."
You're right.
Because I'm not doing one with that. That's not rated R.
Exactly. There's just some characters you can't do PG-13.
No. And
Punisher is well beyond that.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Punisher, Deadpool.
Yeah, right.
So, I got excited because when she mentioned that it was going to be Jon Bernthal, he's the new added to my man crushes.
I don't even know. I got to look him up now.
He's
What's
the guy who
name?
plays Shane in Walking Dead. And he's played in a bunch of things. I know, but I'm saying he's played in a bunch of things. You'd just be really surprised at all the stuff he's played in.
What's his name?
Jon Bernthal.
Burn?
Yeah, Bernthal.
Like B-U or B-E?
B-E, I think.
Yep, there it is, Bernthal. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I recognize him. I just don't know where I recognize him from.
Yeah, he's played in
Punisher.
Yeah, Punisher. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's where I recognize him
For
from.
starter, Punisher.
That makes sense, yeah. Okay. Oh, he was in Fury, too.
He's in a lot of things. And I didn't realize on how much stuff he was in until I started looking at his filmography. He played Al Capone in the Night Museum movies. He's played in a lot of things. I wonder
what he was on the Wolf of Wall. He's in the Wolf of Wall Street.
I think he's just some random dude.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that's a lot of his things. He's like a random side dude in a lot of his earlier work.
I mean, he's in a lot of movies,
and he's really good at playing Frank Castle. And one of the main people I listen to is called Comics Explained.
Yep.
His name's Rob. He's really cool. He's actually one of my favorite people I watch on YouTube that do comics and stuff because he's a super fan. So when he does his content, it's not just like I'm reading you the information. It's like you can hear the fanboy in his voice. You can hear the excitement. You can hear the knowledge of somebody who's knowledgeable because they love it, not because that's what they're making the money off of.
Right.
Like, when you talk about plumbing, sometimes you're like, I know all this. You can give all this information, but the enthusiasm's not there.
Right.
So.
Oh, you mean like when I was trying to teach you when you were at the house?
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you can't do this. And you just like gave me that look.
Yeah, Speaking to a brick wall, Greg. Speaking to a brick wall. But so now I'm excited. And he just did a video about this and more in depth. I just wanted to go over it for a couple of minutes. And a lot of his point of views is the same thing I was going to bring up today is the reason why Punisher PG-13 couldn't work is Not
Well,
only
it's-
does he just
well, it's
kill
a-
people.
Well, no, yeah, it's more violent. He fights a lot too.
Yeah, no, he mainly just shoots people. He never really gets into hand-to-hand unless he absolutely gets stuck without a gun. Like 99% of the time, he will shoot everybody. That's all he does.
Right.
He'll stab you if he has to, if he runs out of bullets. He's a hyper-violent character, and the situations he puts himself in could never be PG-13 because he's not like busting up a drug deal.
Right.
He's like kicking down the doors of like a crack house with
yeah,
prostitutes
right.
and
Yep.
everything else and
You're
killing
gonna
his way
see a
through
lot of
everybody.
stuff. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you see a lot of
Yeah, you see
stuff.
a lot
He's
of
dealt
things.
with a lot of people. Like one of his proteges that he kind of like taught and turned into like a Punisher was like a woman who was abused in so many different ways that she went crazy and started going off the walls and helping Frank Castle, and it's really crazy. But like I think the Punisher series would be something you'd like all the way
Well,
through.
like I said, I do remember watching the last one. It was the one on Netflix with a few episodes of that. And I did like it. I just never followed through with it.
Yeah, because you just
It was
that's how
just
it is.
yeah, right.
You're like, it's comic book stuff.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So there was that. She-Hulk comes out like next week.
Yeah, are you gonna watch that?
Oh yeah.
I know you got like kind of like mixed feelings about it.
I have absolutely mixed feelings because my biggest thing is I like She-Hulk as a character, and I don't know if they'll do her justice because I like the 90 versions of She-Hulk.
Right.
And some people will complain because overall she was a sexualized character.
Right.
Her whole character motif was being the hot woman, like she was.
Well, it kind of seems like at least in the trailers that I've seen, that they kind of go that way a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But like 90s, early 80s, she was like very in your face about it, like
Right.
skimpy outfits and stuff, but she was always, and that's like, yes, that's objectifying women, but physically they objectified her. Like that was her thing. Like her look,
Right, well,
her
that
aesthetic
was
was
a-
very
Well, that was the art.
Was
artistic
very,
thing of the time.
like-
yeah, right.
objectified. Like that was her character design. But her as a character was always an extremely powerful woman. She would flirt. She'd be aggressive with men. That she would take the masculinity out of men.
Right.
Like a dude be like, I'm a big man. She'd like press up against them and like break their confidence. And then they would shy away from her, showing how shallow masculinity is as a whole.
Right.
And I always liked that as a character. Like, yes, the downside is they objectify her, gave her
But
the
they also empower her in other ways.
they empower her in
right,
other
right.
ways where
Yeah.
she's in control.
Right.
She's intimidating these men who try to be toxic masculine and try to be aggressive, and then she just pulls a 180 on them, does it back to them, and then they show how cowardice they are and how insecure they are. And I like that as a character.
Right.
So I'm hoping they get some of that into this. The other main thing but the biggest things I don't know about is, number one, they're showing her to be like overall just plain stronger than the Hulk.
No, I don't think so. Not at least in the
in some-
trailers. He was like teaching her how to use her powers.
Yeah, but
and
he
stuff.
was trying to do like the gamma clap, which is where he makes
yeah,
the sonic boom,
right, yeah.
and then she just does it. It's twice as powerful as his,
right.
which I get because they're trying to go with Professor Hulk, where it's Bruce Banner in control of the Hulk's body,
And not the whole
and he can't access the power as much.
right.
But he was still just generally stronger than her.
Right.
So I don't know where they're going with this. I don't like when I first saw it and they first did it. I was like, "Oh, this is Sex and the City Marvel Edition," which I don't want.
We'll see. It might not be what you think it is.
No, but the one scene I did like in the first trailer is when she's carrying the guy and he looks like a little baby.
Yeah,
He looks like a baby. That's the She-Hulk I like, where she's just like, which I guarantee when she met him, he's like, "Oh, I'm all big and bad," and then she's like, "Yeah, this." She gave me the old caveman, drag him by the hair.
Yeah, right. Hit him with the club.
But that's what's funny about her. Like, she's that powerful of a woman character-wise that she just throws all these dudes,
she can
especially
do
when she was
it,
written in a world of overly masculine people like Luke Cage, Wolverine, like all the guys are like, "Oh, we're super manly
Right,
tough guys,"
right,
and then she
right.
just shows up and throws them for a loop. I always like that about her as a character. Some of the graphics look weird too.
I think that's in every movie anymore, though. I think
Well,
I
this
always
is
think
TV
the graphics
show,
are
but-
God.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's
Like I went back, believe it or not, I went back and watched It Chapter 2 again,
I know you did.
and I always get to the one spot with Eddie.
Where he gets stabbed in the face.
No, when he's a kid, and he doesn't look right. Like he obviously at one point got a little more mature or hit a
Well, it
growth
was
spurt or
what,
something.
2-3
2
years
years later,
two
yeah,
years.
right.
So
And
puberty
so, like,
probably hit him.
You can obviously see that they used CGI to try
youngen him.
Yeah, right.
Make him look
and it's
younger.
it just looks odd. I think it's in any movie. 'Cause the more they get to the CGI, the more you kind of see goofy stuff. Don't get me wrong; it can make a movie really good, but if you make it so obvious, sometimes it can.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think her aesthetic's weird, but I'm also a kid of the '90s, so maybe that's my problem.
I don't know. It's the whole comic book thing's new to me. I mean, you know.
Yeah,
that,
you're slowly getting there. We're dipping your toes in. That's why we're gonna watch Punisher and like Daredevil and stuff like that. Stuff that you can relate to enough that we don't
I
scare you
couldn't
off.
stand the Daredevil movie with.
We're not talking about Ben Affleck. We're not talking about that one. That one's a garbage fire.
Okay.
It was very much of the early
I'm just
2000s.
saying, you said Daredevil, and that's the first thing that pops in
I'm
my
talking
head.
about the Netflix series, which
Okay.
was really, really good. It's really dark and gritty. I think you'll like that one too.
All right.
It's right up your
see.
alley.
We'll see.
It's right up your alley.
I mean, you know, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. I think it's right up your alley for the first season, the second season.
I like how you hesitated.
Because I can't remember the seasons like as they group together.
Right.
I think season 1's the introduction of Kingpin. Season 2 is Bullseye and more Kingpin stuff. Season 3 is, I think, The Hand and Punisher. I think that's exactly how they all link up.
All right.
Because I think the first half of the third season is him dealing with the Punisher and the introduction of Elektra, and then the second half is him dealing with the Hand, which is a group of ninjas. it goes real sideways, but it's real still dark and gritty. And then the Punisher helps him out once in a while.
Oh, okay.
You know, like Daredevil's getting beat up, and then all of a sudden you hear a gunshot, and
and the
2 or 3
Punisher's
ninjas drop
okay.
over. And there's Frank Castle like half a mile away on a roof.
Got you.
And he like says, "See you later, Red," and walks away because Daredevil can hear because he's
Yeah,
super
he's
hearing.
blind, right?
Yeah, he's blind and
okay.
has super hearing.
Right.
And he hears him. He's like, "Oh, thanks, Punisher. See you around."
Copy that.
Yeah, because that's always their dichotomy. Is usually Punisher shows up, starts killing guys. Daredevil tries to stop him because killing's wrong.
Right.
And Punisher's like, "No, if I kill them, they can't commit crimes no more." So I'm looking forward to all that. Wakanda Forever's coming up. Dan's not looking forward to that. I can get why he's not looking forward to that.
Yeah, I know. I think everyone's kind of on edge about it because of Chadwick Boseman's not going to be.
And that's a hard, quick change. It's a
Right.
very.
Yeah.
There was no leading up to it.
Well, there was no there's no goodbye. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no goodbye.
Yeah, there's no goodbye to it.
like
You
Captain
know, there's not
America,
like
he made the very like
there's
this is
not
my
a
last
transition.
movie.
Yeah,
Chris
right.
Evans is like, hey, this is gonna be my last movie, and I can't think of it. Think his name who plays
the Hulk.
No, the one who plays Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
He made it
Yeah.
very clear it was gonna be his last movie.
Well, I don't actually. I was reading into that, and that wasn't his choice to die at the end of that movie. That was the writer. That
yes,
was the
but he
writer
said he
and the
didn't want to do
producer.
any more movies.
Right.
So they had to figure out a way to get rid of him.
Well, now they're talking about trying to figure out a way to bring him back.
Well, yeah, because they're doing what they're always going to do. Because their original plan, I think
they were talking about using a certain stone that they can wish him back.
yeah,
Or,
the
something
Soul
like
Stone.
that.
Soul Stone can bring people back to life. So what I'm thinking what happened is, unfortunately, this is Brie Larson again. We're going back to her and her running her mouth. I think all the stuff, all her bad publicity put all the fans in such a bad taste that Disney's like, I guess we're going to have to shovel out money to get these guys back.
Yeah, I mean, she hasn't even done anything since.
No, she
and she
actually
had a-
no.
she
She
had a
was
small-
she was a small part in Miss
she had a
Marvel.
small part.
In Miss Marvel just recently. That show with the one we were talking about watching.
Yeah.
On that I didn't want to touch because they didn't do her right either, in my opinion, is how her powers work.
Right.
I guess she was in that at the very end. and they put all kinds of twists to things where now she's a mutant now and stuff. It's really weird. I haven't looked too much into it because I'm really starting to fall out of the Marvel cinema because it's just
kind of running dry.
it's not running dry. It's actually, you know what? Dry is a good word.
Dry. Yeah.
Dry is a good word because they have a formula.
They're repeating the same formula.
Yeah, they're having the same formula, and it's starting to hit that where everything's hitting the same notes. The last two that I felt were remotely original, maybe three, was Black Panther because it didn't hit the same notes.
Well, no, it was a different kind.
It was
Black Panther was definitely a different type.
It was a different
Marvel
feel.
movie. Yeah, right.
It was different feel, which was refreshing. It felt good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't think of Avengers Endgame was also
I never watched it all the way through. I've seen the ending. I've seen the beginning.
That was also a different feel.
Well, that was because that was an end of an era.
Yes,
You know what I mean? That
yes.
was.
But I'm saying, like, those are the last couple I can think of that didn't follow the formula.
Right, the whole formula.
Trying to think of what other movies came out in between that time. Has there been other movies of relevance? Doctor Strange. But Doctor Strange came out before Avengers.
What about the second one? You just seen that one?
Yes, that was very formulaic.
Was it?
Yes.
What was it called? The Multiverse or whatever?
Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, okay.
I can't spell.
You just seen Thor: Love and Thunder.
Ugh, that was not good. Like I told you last time when we were sitting here, it was exactly what me and Dan were talking about.
Right.
It was not great. It was like a rom-com. It was like a rom-com in some parts.
It's kind of weird because they did kind of come out and tell you that that's what it was going to be.
Whoops, unplugged my mic.
They did kind of come out and tell you it's going to be a rom-com.
Yes. Well, not really. They just kind of made some gestures towards it, but it wasn't nearly as rom-com-y as I was expecting it to be, but it was rom-com-y enough to take away from the movie. And then whoever the director was, because we looked it up last time, it wasn't James Gunn.
No.
Wanted to be James Gunn. This guy wanted to be James Gunn so hard. Like his soundtrack, everything he was doing was very reminiscent of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like it was just trying to be a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. As far as feel, tone, music, score, everything else. So like once I saw that, I was like,
You're gonna have to switch over to his mic.
Why?
That one keeps going in and out.
Is it it might be the headphones.
You're out right there.
Yeah, it might be the headphones. Because the headphones are
You're out. Now you're back in.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on. I actually think it might be the headphones though. They're getting really bad. We have to get new ones at some point.
No, when I was talking I could hear it, but when you were talking I couldn't.
Yeah, I don't know. So with how they're doing that, everything felt very formulaic. Thor and Love and Thunder was very formulaic. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness was very formulaic. So I don't know what they're going to do with the next couple, but it's hitting a wall, and I think they might need to slow it down because they're going to end up hurting their own business model.
All right, well, we both watched movies.
Yes, we did.
You had Pig.
Yes, I did.
And I had Chinatown.
Yes.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll let you go. You look so disappointed because I said that.
So it's actually a really good movie. So Jack Nicholson plays a private detective named JJ. He is hired by a third-party person to spy on this rich architect who owns the water authority in Los Angeles. So he finds out that he initially thinks that the guy's cheating on his wife. He takes pictures, and all that stuff. Turns it in to it somehow leaks. He doesn't leak it, but somehow it gets leaked out that the guy is cheating, and the pictures that he takes are in the paper. And so like his wife, his actual wife, comes to his office and is like, "I never hired you. I don't know who put you up to this, but I'm going to sue you." All kinds of stuff. Yeah. So he goes in to try to fix what had happened, and he finds out that a third party actually went and did it and set him up. So he's trying to figure out who set him up. During this time, you find out that the wife is also being set up, and it's just like this huge investigation he goes through.
Yeah,
and he finds out that the wife is actually the daughter of her husband's partner.
Okay.
And the person that they thought that he was cheating on her with was her daughter/sister. So you find out that her father, she has a kid to him, and so the girl that they think that the husband is cheating on her with is actually her daughter.
Okay.
And so he goes through this whole investigation. He gets the crap kicked out of him in all these different situations. Like, he protects her in all these situations. Like, he runs into some of his old cop buddies that are obviously dirty.
Yeah.
Because the father owns the cop. Like, he's so rich that he just, like, pays people off. He has people in his pocket. You know what I mean? And then the ending ruins the whole movie. The whole movie. Like, do you remember the episode? Like, I know you weren't a big Big Bang fan. I was a huge Big Bang fan. There was an episode where they ruin Indiana Jones.
Yes.
And it's the same thing. He did nothing. Everything he did in that movie was for nothing. The wife still gets killed. The bad guy still gets what he wants. And the cops are still dirty.
Yeah.
Like, he literally did nothing in that movie that had any
impact.
Right, nothing. Actually, if he'd have done nothing in that movie, the wife would have probably got away with her daughter, had a happy life, and he could have went on with his life. But instead, since he meddled, it all went upwards. Like, everything he did,
belly up.
Everything he did was for nothing.
Yeah,
nothing. And that the ending is kind of like, I thought that Jack Nicholson was going to die.
Yeah.
Just the way it seemed like the movie was heading in that direction. And then it turns out that the wife actually is killed in the end. And her dad, obviously the daughter's dad too, gets the daughter, walks away. And the cops are still dirty because they're the ones that killed the wife.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, this was all for nothing. This whole movie was for nothing.
Yeah, but at the same time, with a movie like that, it actually proved, like, in those kind of big settings that there's a lot of shady stuff going on, one person isn't going to unravel the threads. Like, you can't have one person tug at it and think the whole thing's going to collapse just because one dude gets in trouble or one dude meddles. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. It's never.
I know, but what I'm saying is that his investigation was for nothing.
Yeah,
like, the whole movie was for nothing. You literally watched the whole movie for no reason at the end.
I mean, I get it, but what I'm saying is, like, I like those type of movies once in a while because there's too many movies where that one guy meddles, investigates, and then all of a sudden the whole criminal organization falls apart. Like, they didn't have contingency plans. They didn't have the ability to recover everything, because for me, a criminal organization or any shady people that have that much power shouldn't be able to be brought down by one schlub.
Well, that's usually how it happens, though. When a shady organization is brought down, it's because one schlub was a whistleblower. And that's how everything happens. That's usually how it happens.
Yeah.
So for you saying you don't like that, that's actually a real life.
No, it does happen, but I'm saying most of the time, like, when it comes down, like you said, there was cops that were a part of everything.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, when they're that big, usually, yes, one guy meddles and it messes up a portion of the operation. And everybody up to so far in that tree gets taken down because they're all connected.
Yeah, but nobody got taken down.
Yeah, but that also happens a lot too. that also happens a lot. Usually, like the courier gets taken down, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know."
No, he didn't even lose his career.
Yeah, so
He didn't lose his career.
courier. Like when like drug organizations, they maybe lose one or two like mules, their couriers, the people who deliver.
Nothing.
Yeah, that happens. Nothing happens.
Nothing in the movie. Like it was literally for nothing. It's the same thing with Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
The same thing was going to happen no matter what. Whether Indiana Jones was in the movie or not, the same thing was going to happen in this movie, whether Jack Nicholson's character was in it or not.
Yeah. So, because I knew it was gonna be good when you said the ending ruined everything.
Everything. I as soon as I seen the ending, I was like, whatever, and I shut it off. I didn't even like watch for anything else. I was like, okay, bye. Clicked it off, walked away.
We started watching
What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows. Yes.
Are you going to talk about Pig, or are you going to talk about that?
I was gonna give Pig because it's gonna be we gotta eat up some time anyways since we're down.
Are you saying it's going to be a long explanation? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, it's a good.
Okay.
It's a longer explanation.
Gaia. Yeah. So what was it? Season 4. We're on season 4 of What We Do in the Shadows. Right?
Is it 4?
I think so.
I think it's 3. It's 2 or 3. It's 3 or 4. One of the two.
I'll tell you here in a second.
Okay. I like it so far. It's
the only thing that I wasn't really. I don't like how they don't just like don't talk about their travels. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to pick up at some point during
it and go through all that, what they're all doing separately.
Yeah. But it really didn't do that, which just kind of threw me off guard a little bit with it. But the characters, I love the characters in that show. They're great.
Yeah. And I think this episode was really raunchy. Like the first episode was a lot raunchier than I was expecting.
You mean the first one?
Yes. It was funny.
Yeah, season 4 we're in.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was definitely funny, but I know what you're talking about. It was a little more raunchy than what I was expecting too. But I mean, I guess you kind of get it because at Nandor or not Nandor, but
I can't. Katya
and what's his name?
I can't think of his name. Matt Berry's character.
Yeah, right. I can't remember why I can't remember his name. Laszlo. But you know that they always had like that nympho energy to them.
Yeah, they were all over the place.
What do you think is going to happen with the kid?
I think
Do you think it grows at like an exponentially fast rate?
Yes, I think by the end of the season we're going to get Colin Robinson completely back.
Yeah,
like completely back.
Because like it said it was a year, but the kid looks like he's like 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he must grow at an exponential rate.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's an energy vampire.
I'm kind of interested where they're gonna go with it because it like Nandor is looking for a wife now, and it's gonna be interesting.
I think they're gonna drop that halfway through.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they're gonna get into some other stuff.
What do you think's gonna happen with the club?
I think it's gonna fail, and they're gonna bail it. Something's gonna go completely wrong. Like they're gonna have this club, and all of a sudden, a bunch of vampires hunters show up and kill all the vampires, or there's
what they got. Good old Guillermo.
Yeah, Gizmo.
Gizmo. It's a good show. I like it.
Yes, I'm for it. I'm really hoping this season doesn't peter out.
I don't think last season did. Last season didn't peter out.
No, I don't think it did either, as far as I remember. But we're hitting 4th season, so
as long as they keep it fresh, which it seems like they're doing
so far.
Yeah,
give it time though.
I mean, they always put them in different positions and situations. One of my favorite episodes is, what is it, like season 1? I think it's season 1 with the werewolf. Remember they're fighting the werewolf on top of the roof?
Oh, and he throws
he throws the little squeaky ball. He throws it over the edge of the roof,
and the werewolf jumps after it because they're essentially just dogs.
Right. That was one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah,
but I
like the cursed hat.
I kind of wanted to tell. So like when how I hate The Office. When we brought it up and Dan was like, "That's like The Office," and I wanted to like smack him. That's blasphemy. It's not like The Office.
It is. It is. The formula is set up just like The Office, which is
I get it. Where they're aware
reality
of
show.
Yeah, they're aware of the
show.
cameras.
Yeah, it's a reality show.
Yeah, right.
It's a reality show in a situation. The Office is inside a paper company.
Yeah.
This is inside the House of Vampires, and that's just. So I get where he gets that.
I kind of get that, but The Office is mainly in the office setting.
Yes.
And this one and this they kind of do all kind of weird.
Well,
wacky
The Office, the first 2
adventures.
seasons was mainly in The Office. Then they start branching out as it grows.
Well, I can't get past like the first 3 episodes.
Exactly. So, and just like this, the first 2 seasons were mainly in the house, except for this, like, and then they maybe catch somebody out.
Not really.
Mainly, the main setting is the house.
Well, they fought the werewolves. They fought. What's his name in the New
but
York
they
City
didn't last the whole
Club.
episode. It wasn't like the whole episode they were there. It was just always back to the house at some point in time. Like
Well, yeah,
that's
'cause
the
they
main
gotta-
hub.
well, yeah,
That's
'cause they have to go
how
back
the
home.
office is. It's mainly at the office, but then there is times where they're like at the store or out traveling. I think the con thing is you just don't like half the actors in that.
I think Steve Carell is an awesome actor.
Yes. What about the other?
I think
Rest
the
of
guy
them.
who plays Jim's a good actor.
Yes,
I think
'cause
the
he's-
girl who plays Pam's a good actor.
I don't know.
The guy who plays Dwight, I think, is hilarious. He can be funny,
Yeah, he can be very funny.
but I don't think. I just think that the
The setting.
I just don't like the setting and
Yeah.
I
And
don't
you-
like the cheesy shtick. Like, oh, that's what she said. Like, it's like to me, that's
Yeah. And then his Steve Carell's character where he's super cheesy. and
yeah,
stuff.
right. That's what I
That's
don't
his
like.
whole shtick. Like that's his character.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't like the shtick. I don't like the.
You don't
whole-
like his character,
right? But I think Steve Carell is a great actor.
And then what the funny part is you could watch the British version, which is the original, because the American one is a remake of the British
I
version,
know
which I
that.
think Matt Berry's in that.
I have to look it up. I don't even know where it's on. Is it on Netflix or anything?
I'll check right now while I'm at it. The Office.
The guy who plays Jim, he's the guy that does the what's the show you like, or the 2 movies you like? What was it? They had to be silent. They couldn't make any noise because the aliens
Quiet.
would come.
Quiet Place or
Yeah, the quiet.
was it the Quiet
Is it
Place?
a quiet place?
It's something like that.
But that was that. That's who that
Yeah,
main
he
character
was
is
in
that.
because the second one's a prequel.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the second one.
No, I watched the first one. I didn't want to bother with the second one. I felt the first one was good enough to let it go. on its
Yeah, I
own.
thought it was alright. I watched Prey.
Yeah. Is that the new Predator movie?
Yes.
Okay. How was it?
It's actually a really good movie. So it's like it's a prequel.
Of course.
So it's set in like 1701 or something like that, and it's in a Native American tribe, and it's like this girl. You see like hunter gatherers. So like every morning, like the women would wake up and go like gather berries and grain and whatever
Yeah.
for the tribe.
You know how they live.
Yeah, right. Well, that's why I'm just trying to explain it a little
Yes.
more for the audience. But so it's this like 13, 14, I want to say, I don't know, probably a little older than that, probably 15-year-old Native American girl. She doesn't want to be a gatherer. She wants to be a hunter.
Of course.
And she's trying to prove to her family and her older brother that she can be a tracker and she can be a hunter.
That sounds awful lot like Brave, the Disney film.
Yeah, a little bit. So, I forget what happens, but like she starts finding these huge tracks, which is obviously the predator tracks.
Yeah.
And she's finding like these weird things, like a snake is skinned and chopped all up, and she's like, "What animal does that?" And everyone's like ignoring her.
Yeah.
So she goes off on her own to go find this, new creature that she's trying to find. And they send out a search party to find her. And as they're bringing her back home, they're dragging her back home. The predator comes out and just annihilates everybody. It's actually a good scene. And she takes off running. Well, here in Predator, so I don't remember this in the original Predator. He only hunts in this movie. He only hunts ones that he believes or like threats, or
That's been all of them.
has it been all of them?
Yes.
It's
'Cause
been
the
a
first-
while since I watched.
The first one in Arnold Schwarzenegger,
he doesn't
they're all
hunt-
soldiers,
Like he doesn't hunt like.
unarmed people.
Oh yeah, right. He
Yeah,
he won't
that's-
go. He doesn't go after like rabbits. He doesn't go after like her because he doesn't view her as
Like,
a threat.
so that's been a mainstay with Predator since movie one. Is their biggest thing is they don't hunt defenseless things. Like, he killed- like-
it's been a while since I watched him, so I don't really remember.
Yeah, because the first one, they couldn't figure out why the woman was alive.
Right.
Why he never tried to kill the woman that was with them. Well, you find out because she wasn't a threat. There was no fight to
There's
it.
no
There
game
was
to it. Right.
Yeah, there was no sport.
Right.
So that's been a mainstay since the beginning. Because the second movie with Danny Glover, like everyone that got killed in that movie always had guns, knives, or could fight back.
Right.
Like try to fight back, even though he's an invisible alien with.
So at one point she like falls in a mud pit, and I thought, okay, we're gonna get like a, like a, what do you want to call it?
Predator 1 movie, like a callback.
Yeah, but callback. But that's not how she beats him. She does beat him by lowering her
Covering her body temperature. Yeah.
but not in that way. It's a different way she does it. But like she watches it kill her brother. The brother is the main part that kind of gets her to really seek revenge.
Yeah.
Like when it kills all the other ones, she doesn't. She acts like she doesn't really like care.
Like whatever, they're dead.
And then her brother gets captured by these French colonists.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, there's no subtitles for this movie. So, they want you, like I tried to look up my subtitles and they weren't working. I was like, what in the world? So I went and looked it up and they're like, yeah, there's no subtitles for it.
Yeah, no.
Like they want you to be just as confused as they are. So they're captured by the French colonists. They're hunting the predator because they obviously had noticed some stuff. And he just comes in and tears the whole... What in the world? What are you looking up?
I was looking up upcoming movies for the next 2 years.
Okay. So, anyways, it kills her brother after they're captured. That creates her want to beat him.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. Obviously, she wins. Her main weapon is a axe.
Yeah.
And when you watch how she throws the axe and stuff, it's very unrealistic.
Yeah.
It's the only part about the movie I really wasn't a big fan about.
Yeah. I don't know. We're having some technical difficulties. Greg's mic cut out for a second there, like it wasn't showing up on the registry or nothing. So should I go watch Prey?
Yeah, I'd watch it.
Okay, I will, because I like Predator movies anyways.
Yeah, you'll like it. It's not bad.
So while you were talking about that, I started to look up a couple of movies that are coming up.
Yeah, I've seen Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear. I have to know what this is about. That seems like something I'm going to make you watch if you spin it.
Okay.
I will watch it with you. We're getting Scream 6.
Oh, man.
What else? Just going through this. We're getting another Indiana Jones.
Another one?
Mm-hmm.
With who?
I don't know. I haven't looked that far into it. We're getting Kraven the Hunter, which I'm excited about. It's one of my favorite Spider-Man villains.
What is it? Kraven the Hunter?
Yeah. He's more or less a human version of the Predator.
No. Okay.
He was like a really good hunter. Then he got like super injured. Him and his wife are like out in the African wild. She was like a researcher and he was like a hunter.
Yeah.
So he was like hunting animals all the time. And then he got severely injured in a lion attack and he was about to die. And she happened to somehow come across the same drug that gives Black Panther his superhuman abilities. But it was like an impure version of it. Like it was like a mixed one. So it gave him like pretty much Black Panther's physical abilities.
Yeah.
but it also kind of made him crazy.
Got him.
So then he started like going out and hunting lions and stuff with his bare hands and beating them to death and everything else. And he's like, well, this is boring. I've beaten everything here.
It's a good movie for PETA.
You're right. So then he goes, oh, I'm going to start hunting down superheroes to have the, fun of it.
What's that show on? There's a new show on like Netflix that was kind of the same thing. They're hunting down superheroes to kill them. Is it The Boys?
Yes, but that's on Prime. That's a whole different comic book. That's more like the world now if a shady corporation controlled superheroes.
Right.
And the whole shtick behind that is like this company, it's more or less, think of it as the Umbrella Company, more or less.
Yep.
And they found a drug that could give people superpowers. So they started creating superheroes to create merchandise and sell them.
So it's kind of like Deadpool 1.
Yes and no, because Deadpool 1 was they were creating super soldiers to sell to whoever.
Right.
This one was like the corporations creating their superheroes for them to sell themselves as like superheroes. The merchandising, the protection, the government plans. Like they're creating and selling their own weapons and advertising them. So they're trying to hit all the markets. And The Boys is really messed up. Actually, I think you'd like it. It's really dark. It's really messed up.
What's it on Prime?
Yeah, Amazon Prime. It's really dark. It's like, what if Superman was completely psychotic?
That would be a good one.
Because the main hero in that of the group is Homelander. And he's like really crazy.
Oh, it's on my app.
Yeah, go ahead and watch it when you get some time. I started not liking it after the first season just because I was getting bored of it. Because I read the comic books.
How many seasons is there? 3.
Yeah.
3 seasons.
Third season just came out. I read the comic book. So I liked the comic book more than what I saw of the show.
Right.
But the comic book also is a lot darker than the show in some ways. But it's pretty good. The first season's really good. It's about the second and third season I started losing like interest and track, and it's more the second season. Then the third season, it picks back up and it's starting to tie in everything.
Right.
Like I liked how the third season ended, but it was not one of those shows I'm like super excited to talk about because they changed enough to make it separate from the comics so they didn't have to follow the comics. But I felt like there's some relevant things that they should have followed in the comic books.
Right.
So, but it's right up your alley. Like the main super Homelander, he's all about being loved by the American people. Like he was raised from like a test tube baby all the way up. And this whole thing is like, he's never known parents. He's never known loved. All he knows is that he's the next big superhero and that he has to be like the American way and everything like that. And it drives him insane because he knows nothing of like proper social etiquette or nothing.
Right.
He just knows how to be a superhero. So he starts going crazy. Like, like in the first season, a plane's getting jacked by terrorists. So he flies in with the other main chick and they beat up the terrorists, and then he kicks down the airplane door, and the one guy goes to shoot him, and he uses his laser vision and just burns everyone to death, like cuts him in half with his laser vision. But unfortunately, his laser vision destroyed all the plane controls and stuff.
Oh yeah, right.
Obviously. So then what he did was like, oh, nothing we can do, and he grabbed her and they left. And he let all those people die.
Right.
Because all the controls were gone. He has super strength, but not enough to lift a plane.
Right.
Like he could maybe throw a car, or, punch down a steel door, but like he can't carry a plane. He's not Superman levels.
Right.
But yeah, it's crazy stuff like that. There's a cartoon version that comes on later, like that tells like in between stories and stuff. It gets really messed up. Like it just shows like somebody with ultimate power, how corrupt they can be. And like he does crazy things. Like he was killing people who disagreed with him. After the one girl gets hired on to be like their image consultant stuff, she finds a superhero who's blind, so it's more or less Daredevil.
Right.
It's absolutely Daredevil in every way. And when he meets him, he's like, hey, when I got blind, my hearing got super good and stuff. And because I was so inspired by you, I decided to be a superhero, and I trained nonstop for 10 years. And that's why I'm so good. It's so nice to meet you, Homelander. He goes, oh, that's nice. So you have super hearing, huh? He goes, yeah. And like superhuman, he goes, what happens if I do this? And he boxes his ears and blows his eardrums out. And there's blood everywhere, and he's screaming. He goes, yeah, we don't need some random cripple on my team. And he just leaves this kid bleeding on the floor, screaming. And he tells the consultant agent that, she's not in charge because he's starting to because the main dude that was keeping him on a leash kind of was taking a back step.
Yeah.
Because, Homelander was like, I'm the main thing. I'm your main product. So he goes, go ahead, run it, see what happens. So this is the whole line where he's starting on the team,
right.
But he has no experience in it. So he's just crazy.
Right.
So he crippled and killed that guy.
You better start talking about your movie.
I got plenty of time.
Are we spinning the wheel too, by the way?
Yeah, we might as well spin the wheel. You're cutting out again. Try speaking a little closer to your mic.
You there?
Yeah. Hold on.
Is that better?
Yeah, it is. Then my mics are failing us today. I'll have to see what's going on with that. I'll call in our tech guy for that. But so now that we're on the last 15 minutes, we'll talk about my movie called Pig. Did you ever want to watch John Wick without the guns and the extra violence?
No.
Yeah, well, that's what I just watched.
What would make me want to watch that?
It actually was a decent movie. I will give you that. When I first started watching it,
Did his dog get killed too?
No, his pig did.
Oh, okay. That's why it's called Pig.
Yeah, it's actually a movie about the truffle industry when it first started up. The expensive mushrooms, the truffles.
Yeah.
They're super expensive. Well, when it first started up, you have restaurants would pay random people to bring in their supply of crabs and stuff because they don't want to pay the big rigs.
Yeah, right.
To cut corners.
More of that, and their prices were way more.
Yeah, a mafia thing where you go to the back alley guy who can get you it. So it starts out with Nicolas Cage's character literally just walks up to a patch of dirt, bends over, takes a knife, scoops it in, and eats dirt.
And eats dirt.
Eats dirt.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And he has a pig with him the whole time. Well, I was like, what is going on? Because I didn't read any synopsis beforehand because I was trying to go in this blind.
That's what I do.
Yeah. So not like a synopsis, but like a trailer or have some kind of idea.
I watch all the movies you guys give me without any of that.
Yeah. Because we don't pick terrible ones for you. We at least
pick terrible ones for you either.
Yeah. Yeah,
but what's a terrible one I picked for you?
Not you. Dan's picked some bad ones.
All
for
right,
you,
then.
Okay. So, he's just sitting there, and then he's finds some truffles, and then a guy shows up and buys his truffles from him to sell to other restaurants. And and it's just him being a crazy woodsman guy, an isolationist movie.
Yep.
And then he starts listening. He gets batteries for a boombox, starts listening to a cassette tape. And it's a woman's voice. And he starts to panic. And then he stops the tape and puts up the radio. And he goes to sleep with his pig.
Okay.
Pig's got its own bed and stuff in there. Like his pet dog. Exactly John Wick.
Yeah, right.
So all of a sudden, the pig's up and freaking out like a guard dog. He's like, oh, it's nothing. It's probably just the coyotes again. And he goes back to sleep. And all of a sudden, some people kick in his door, hit him over the head with a shovel, and take his pig. And I was like, what is going on? Because I didn't really see it was truffles because I just saw him pick up this thing and I couldn't figure out what it was right at first. Well, as the movie goes on, it gets into the whole, it's about truffles. It's about selling to restaurants. A lot of the drug addicts at the time were going out into the woods and digging up truffles and finding truffles to sell to be able to keep the drug supply going.
Right.
So it was really cool to see that. And Nicolas Cage characters, he's been in this wood for 20 some years. You don't know really
knows every inch of it. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And you don't know why he's there. And then he's like, I have to go back off the mountain to this restaurant. And he goes, hey, where's Gretchen? They're like, she's been dead for 10 years. He's like, well, I need your phone. So he calls the guy who shows up to his house once in a while, who's his buyer.
Yeah.
And they go on this journey to try to find his pig. Because he knew he saw the truck that They took off with his pig. And he goes, I need to go to the city. So they go into the city. And he's like, we need to meet with this guy. So they go there and he's like talking to this dude. And he's like, you're nobody anymore. He goes, why are you here? You're nobody. You've been off the scene. Nobody knows who you are anymore. You have no name here. And then he goes, and he walks away. And then he comes back later at like midnight where the guy he was talking to holds fights in an underground like arena thing. Mm. What you find out is the Nicolas Cage character is a chef.
Okay.
And what they were doing is having underground fight things where the lower staff, like the waiters, busboys, and all that, would literally for money get to beat the crap out of the chefs, because the chefs in those big fancier restaurants are in charge of everything.
Yeah.
So the chefs would just stay
down to them.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
right,
to let off some steam and to keep them there,
right.
They get to for like so many minutes just get to beat the crap out of the chefs for money.
Right.
So the chefs are making side scratch, and the bigger the name chef, the more money they'll put down to be able to fight them.
And the chef wins.
No, the chef doesn't fight back. It's just letting him to get
chef doesn't fight back.
No, it's
he just stands there and let them beat the crap out.
Yeah, to blow off steam, because to find good staff's hard, especially in a city, and you're keeping a 5-star restaurant. And the whole it was really weird. Which there's stuff like that. I've seen stuff like that before where people would get to beat up. Like there's people out there who pay to get beat up.
There's been movies like that before.
No, I'm saying there's actual people who get beat up for money. They'll take a punch for no reason other than
punch, not to get the total crap kicked out.
But it's for a limited time, so there's only so much you can do. Like it's not like they get chairs and stuff. It's your bare fists. And so he shows up and writes his name on the board of people you can fight. All of a sudden, everyone recognizes the name and starts throwing money like crazy to fight him, to be able to beat him up. So, the guy he was talking to was like, you have no name here. He goes, prove he still does.
Right.
What you find out is the main character was like the biggest chef of the city.
Right.
And it still didn't explain why he left and went to the woods. They just said one day all of a sudden he disappeared. So it goes to him doing all the John Wick stuff of trying to find his pig without killing people and stuff like that. All the actiony stuff. So he shows up at a restaurant where he's tracked down some of the people, and he goes to this restaurant and gets served, and he goes, I want to talk to the chef. Well, the head chef of this restaurant was a chef he fired 5 years ago because the chef sucked at cooking. And then he started talking to him and breaking him down and got some information from him. And then you find out his buyer, it was his dad. It was his buyer's dad that commissioned to steal his pig, because Nicolas Cage character was the guy supplying the most truffles. Okay. And everyone thought it was his pig doing it. Because he kept saying it was a truffle sniffing pig.
Yeah.
So people were using, because that's what most people use, is pigs to sniff out truffles and then they dig them up. That's truffle pigs are a thing. That was so he gets information from the chef, finds out that his buyer's dad's the one who stole his pig. So he goes there and talks to him, and he's like, yo, you ain't getting your pig back. What are you gonna do? He goes, I don't think you understand. I own, regular mafioso stuff. I own everybody.
Yeah, right.
So he leaves. The main antagonist's son, talks to him and is still trying to help him, even though he found out his dad was part of it because they don't get along.
Yep.
So as they're going, he's like trying to be like a father, Nicolas Cage here is trying to be a father to this guy, the main bad guy's son, because he starts talking about the last time he ever saw his parents happy before his mom went crazy and tried to commit suicide, and his dad became the mafioso guy that he is now. The last thing he remembers is they went to this restaurant, incidentally Nicolas Cage's restaurant, and had a meal there, and that was like the last thing they always got along about, was every time they went to that restaurant. All the bad stuff would go away when they went to that restaurant. So near the end, Nicolas Cage goes, get me all these. Get me this list. We're going to get my pig back. I was like, all right, here we go. Action movie stuff. Nicolas Cage is going to start killing people and fight his way to get this. Nope. He commissions the guy's son to help make a meal. Incidentally, it was the very meal.
Yeah, right.
that, and then they sat down to eat it, and what you find out is he became the mafioso and all that stuff because he was trying to recreate that meal. He was trying to keep his wife's memory alive as best he can because she's a vegetable now. So he's using all that money to pretty much keep her alive. And he's going through like a mental breakdown, and that's the reason why he started getting into this market and stuff, because the main meal they had truffles in it, and it was just something to do to take his mind off the grief. So he makes his meal. The guy starts eating. He starts having a breakdown. So then he admits that, the pig doesn't really find truffles. It was actually Nicolas Cage. He just knows the woods that well. He knows where they grow.
Right.
He learned how to find all this before the whole pig era of finding truffles for them. So he just wants the pig back because it's his pet, and he loves that pig.
Well, it got chopped up as bacon.
So when the main bad guy's kind of like has his breakdown, he's like, all right, because he's like, I'm gonna give you like $50,000 to replace this pig, and he's like, no, I want my pig, and they kept fighting about it. So what you find out, he goes, hey, look, I was trying to avoid telling you this, but when the guys I hired who were junkies got back to me with the pig, because the pig wouldn't settle down and stuff, they beat it to death. They beat it to the point where it was dying. He tried to get it to a vet. The vet couldn't save it, so they had to put it down. So Nicolas Cage's character breaks down, has like a complete breakdown, and then he goes back to the woods. Well, he starts playing the tape again. And what you find out is the reason why he stopped being a famous chef and all this other stuff is his wife died on his birthday or around his birthday. She made him a mixtape for his birthday, and she also got him that pig.
So it's a non-violent version of...
Yeah, it's John Wick.
Yeah.
It's non-violent John Wick.
Right.
So, as a whole, for a non-action movie, I really liked it. There was a lot of elements to it. I liked it. It wasn't... It threw me off. I was expecting it to be a John Wick movie, but it wasn't.
No. Can't win them all.
No, we can't. So, let's spin wheels.
Oh, horror.
All right, that would be easy for you. So I'm picking a horror movie for you.
A wild card.
Wild card, sad face.
Ooh, now you do get a bad one.
Yeah. So I think we'll save that for, we'll just look them up since we're kind of quick on time.
Yeah.
We'll look them up and I'll post them on Facebook as soon as we figure out who's getting what.
Right.
Because I got to find a horror movie you haven't watched, which is going to take a lot longer than the 3 minutes we have left.
Right.
So I got to find a decent one that you haven't watched, and you got to find me a terrible one that I won't enjoy. So we will definitely come back to that. Trying to think of, is there any other...
Do we want to spin for Dan?
No. Well, Dan's got to talk about Sing. And guess what? We might make him carry an entire episode talking about Sing. So we might have him reenact every song.
Sing, the cartoon?
No, the cartoon movie. Remember Sing 2? Yeah, that was the one. Remember? Because you're like, you made him pick that because of the pig.
Oh, that's right.
Right, yeah.
No,
yep. So he's going to now have to span that for an entire hour.
An entire hour.
It's going to be the Dan.
Movie.
It's going to be, it's going to be the Dan show.
The Dan show.
So, we're going to have a Teespring app store here soon, which is we're going to have our own t-shirts for sale here soon. I just got to finish setting that up. So, yay. Other than that, we're going to call it a show. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Oh, yeah.